find, you know what I mean? Just being able to create something from something else.
I rock with that, even the part that you mentioned coming from the bad, because it's like, I wrote a post the other day about like looking at the mistakes in my content and wanting to improve on them, but you can't really improve if you're not really willing to even consider that something is not as good as it could be. So yeah. I want to expound on that question a little more, right? Where it's like, what's something that you've looked at your creative process that you're like, this ain't it, or you want to do a little better, or you know what I mean, something you want to be more creative about, as you kind of explained?
Well, I'm pretty much creative about everything I do. That's probably one of my downfalls. But everything I do has to have some kind of me doing something that wasn't done before. Because that's how I feel I can express myself, and I can actually have a voice. Like, people know that I exist because that distinct expression comes off of me.
And make sure you give me some motion on this camera too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just naturally, but you know what I mean? Just for the sake of it. All right, we're gonna move on to the second question. Let me just scooch it. All right, so what is the hardest challenge in your life right now? Like, what are you going through personally? You know what I mean? Something that maybe is a general thing other people might be going through too. Like, what's a big challenge you're going through personally?
Definitely a huge thing I'm going through right now. Definitely finances. Sucks. I think everybody could probably attest to that right now. It's not great. But my circumstances in particular happen to be compounding, but somehow I find a way to have joy in everyday circumstances, even though it absolutely is hot garbage.
Yes. Well, what makes that so challenging? I don't mean to get too, you know what I mean, in your business, but I know a lot of people, they talk about money problems. I've had money problems. But what makes that challenging? What about that is challenging, where it's like you're finding points in your day where the money not being there becomes more challenging?
I mean, everything. Like, even sometimes down to a bottle of water. Like, it's something as simple as getting water. Like, you forget about stuff like that. Or, like, air conditioning, or, like, cell phone service. Like, any of those kind of, like, modern day things. Mm-hmm. You, like, literally forget because you're so comfortable. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's actually a positive thing to not have that stuff, but in this potential nonsense that I'm going through, which is all seeming to go for my good, but it's very wild, the things and pieces are flying at you in your day-to-day life, and you have to find a way to get that dollar amount to get that next thing, whether it's something as simple as gasoline, or I want to support another artist, but I'm still broke. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of those kinds of things, like, because I'm about community, but it's like, I also need to eat. Like, maybe I should buy a sandwich, like, so yeah, there's a lot of challenges with not having money, for sure.
Would you be willing to share a story with us, like, in just a direct reference of what you mean? Because you had a couple topics and points, but it's like, there's a specific story you could share with us? Maybe something recent or something that happened?
Yeah, I mean, a particular challenge, like, let's just say with the air conditioning. I literally got a tiny little AC in my room now, but wow, it was insane. Like, the past, like, 4 days was nuts. Like, I literally woke up in my bed with, like, an angel print of sweat on my bed. Like, there's an imprint of me on the bed when I woke up. It was 91 degrees inside the house, like, it was gnarly. But I woke up and I was like, cold shower it is. I got a cold shower, and then I came to Philly and did 2 windshields. It was like 90 outside. So I was literally felt like I was melting, but at the same time I was so happy to be in the sun. It was like so confusing, but
this Philly, this summer in Philly been different, bro.
Yeah, it's
like,
been
this
one
been different.
But it's not. I mean, I'm so used to being outside from working. You know what I mean? Like, doing windshields and stuff. Like, it's not that bad. It could be hella worse. Like,
Okay, well, my next question then, because that really was more than most people would share, and I commend you on that, because it's hard to just be open about struggling, but that's why I'm doing this segment, so that we can bring together that community element you were mentioning, where people can be more open about what they need, and then we can help service one another. That's what we doing with the content, is essentially like normalizing that, like breaking that stigma of like, well, I don't want to bring nobody in my mix, or even when I try to bring someone in my mix, they don't really care too much. So it's like we want to dispel all of that shit out.
No, I think people need to be more candid about what they're dealing with, because like, they always say like, if you don't say anything, then how can we help and stuff. I mean, that is true. Like, if you don't ask, then you probably are not going to get any answers. And I'm always asking a million questions like a 5-year-old. So that's why I'm sitting here right now, because I asked a bunch of questions, and then I met TJ Harris. So
give thanks and praise, bro. You know what I mean? It's definitely like my life's work. That's why I joined the industry of music, because I just seen, like you said, where I could add value, and where I seen there was a problem that a lot of people who I knew could solve. So that brings me to my next question. Like, what would you want to change in the industry that you're in, whether you want to just deal with the entertainment industry aspect, or the music part of it, or, just capitalism at large? You can go as wide as you want on that topic, but I just want to know, what's one thing you would change in the industry of today?
That's a really good question, because, well, in the music industry, I wouldn't even consider necessarily myself a part of that. Even if I do drop my album and all these things come out the way I plan, I don't really consider myself, I guess, in that, because I'm just kind of a dude making it in my room, trying to affect the people around me in a more positive way. You know what I mean? Give them ideas on ways that they can be better themselves, like in the midst of absolutely horrible, chaotic things. Like, I literally have a whole hook where it's like, I'm not dead, so I'm gonna be myself. Like, like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna worry about all this stuff that's happening, politics and the music industry paying me pennies, because if I'm not gonna put it on streaming until after I already get dollars per album, what does it matter? Then that's for later. I'm not gonna be all upset and fighting about it. Like, I don't care that much. There's other things I could be focusing on. Like, I've been through absolute hell in life, and it hasn't gotten any better, really. Like, kind of is getting worse, for real, but I'm still here, so I'm gonna find a way to make it good. I literally made this shirt yesterday. Like, it is what it is. Like,
I love that, because you didn't need to change anything in the music industry, but you just mentioned how, you're not directly associated with it. So for, like you said, the people who you make music for, is there anything that, because I'm speaking for myself, I'm speaking on like how I can help you, right? So I guess the question would be like, what would be the way that you would imagine delivering music to your audience in this, landscape, if you just could choose? Like, what way would you like to reach people with your music if you could just wake up tomorrow and do that, and it be the most intentional, impactful way you could reach them? What would you choose?
I mean, if there was a way I could do it all for free, for real, like, and not die in the process, like, and not be like asking somebody for $5 so I can go get some food that's gonna destroy me, like, feel me, like, packaged or whatever food, like, I'm trying to stay away from it, but I'm broke, so feel me, like, so it's like, I don't know, man, it's like, if I was to distribute it, I would probably just do it for free and then have people buy like the merch and stuff from me to support me. But I don't know, like, I'm kind of thinking a hybrid of things at this point, because it's like, I need a little bit of upfront money to do some things. So like, maybe donation based for an album, like 5 to 10 minimum, but then you could give whatever you want to support the cause, and then maybe I'll do the merch and stuff later. Like, because I kind of don't have time for all the things I do. Like, I'm starting a business from scratch with somebody else, doing auto class, and then I'm like working on my own album that technically doesn't exist yet. You know what I mean? Like, working on songs with other artists that I'm just finding now. Like, I'm literally showing up at shows, exchanging numbers, and sending beats like on the fly. So it's interesting how bright and like kind of wild the future is, at least for myself and where I envision myself. But I think that if we can somehow like keep the idea of networking and community alive, because it seems to be kind of dead in a way, if we could keep that alive, because face-to-face interactions is by far what the world needs, not more internet stuff. So
that's what you
put
would
this
like
on
to
the
perform
internet
in
after
person and stuff too. That would be like your priority or your prerogative is to do more in-person performances and stuff.
Yeah, in-person performances and exchanges monetarily and all those types of things, because like that's how you grow economy, I guess. And if you want to do business with those people, then that's how you would operate, I would think. But
no, and that's why I asked you, bro, because I think a lot of times people don't even think about it, and if they think about it, they don't talk about it. Like, they don't share that, but like you said, no one can know how to be a part of what you're doing if you're not telling them.
Yeah, you have to say something like, hey, I'm doing this, and then it's like, oh, that's cool. And then some people are like, yeah, that's really weird, get away from me. It's like, oh, okay.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Oh, that's not music. Oh, what? Wait, what? What'd you say?
Okay, so I'm gonna segue into some clickbait, if you cool with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first question is going to be, right, how do you feel about the presidential election in 2024, right? Whether you're someone who's going to look at this later after the actual joint going to happen, or whether you're looking at it the day after Glass is giving his opinion, right, and you're going to hold him to it because you're like, you should have knew this, right? So you were wrong, Glass. So what do you feel like about the current situation in the presidential election in America? You're an American, so it's like, how do you feel?
Man, it's a lot of nonsense, that's for sure. People talking out both sides of the... I don't even know what's going on, man. It's like so much doublespeak. Nobody's really real. I don't know what's happening for real. Like, it feels like a giant marketing campaign to see who gets the vote. Very strange. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really for anybody happening right now.
Can you speak on what doublespeak is? Because the people probably don't know. I know what that is, but people might not know what that is.
Because they're very snaky. Yeah, there's like things that like they talk about things, but like they have... It's almost like double entendres of lies.
Of rap. like some rap shit.
Yeah, it's like a lie, a double entendre lie almost. Like, it's so many layers to their lies, and it all sounds a very positive way. It's like Dora the Explorer, like, lying to you about stabbing your mother. Like, it's like very weird. It's a very strange thing how they talk, and I don't like hate politicians as people, as human beings, but the way that they operate, I'm not like excited about that. You know what I mean? It's...
Well, what would be your expectation? Like, what would you anticipate, like, if this was to go better? How would this have looked in your mind? How did you imagine this going?
Well, I didn't imagine this going at all. Who would? Like, this is absolute insanity. Like, I don't know. But, I mean, there's one person, like, I don't know that I would endorse him per se, but I think that he has good morals and good, like, maybe standards on what a president could possibly be in a good way, would be Robert Kennedy Jr. I mean, he seems like a pretty regular dude that just, like, doesn't even like politics, almost. So he seems pretty cool, but he has the vocal issue, and I think people still have a issue with image and like how you're portrayed in the media and stuff like that, and that in and of itself like almost makes you not a candidate, I guess, for a lot of people, because they care so much about cosmetic and makeup and like how good their car looks but it doesn't run, like, type stuff. So I think if we got rid of those mindsets, we could probably find some better candidates, because like a lot of what's happening right now is all a marketing campaign. And I'm not like for or against Trump or for or against Biden, because I mean, they're kind of just doing their job of what we told them to do. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to be in their position either, but that's kind of what they're just doing. They're just doing like people are telling them to do. And a lot of the people that are telling them to do stuff have money.
That part.
You know what I mean? We don't really have a say because we don't got money, so.
Okay. I almost knocked myself out. If anybody noticed or heard that, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, though, right? You represent the majority in America, right? And I like to have these conversations because around politics and stuff with the majority who represents America, because oftentimes we won't hear like real candid, direct sentiments from them people. It's always like super cosmetic. It's CNN, like everything you just said. Like, so I appreciate you even just being willing to speak and even endorse, or not endorse, you didn't endorse, but just communicate and share other potential candidates.
Because there's other people, way more people. That's just like what I've seen that seemed like he might actually do something positive that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that it could go really one way or the other right now. Like, it could really go far left or it could go far right is what it looks like. And neither of those is good. Everybody knows it's really terrible, like, to be far on one side.
What would you anticipate happening after the election? If both sides, that's where we're going to end this. If Biden wins, what you think's going to happen? And if Trump wins, what do you think's going to happen? Because we're going to have another interview, and then I'm going to crop this into that to just, like, create that funny moment of, like, Glassman the prophet, if you get it right.
I hope I'm not a prophet, but I might be, I don't know. But, no, I don't think that Biden's winning nothing, in all honesty. All, respect, he's the president, but, like, bruh, no, like, you gotta chill. Like, it's not it no more. Like, I don't know. Like, I was never for it, but I feel like somebody else can do the job, for sure, on the Democratic side. That's not Biden and not Harris, because they both, like, they proved to us, at least in this period of time, that we don't need that mindset. We need something more fresh. So whoever that is, I don't even care at this point. Like, I just want a human being who's an actual human being that's not being told to do things because of $1. Like, that's all I care about. Democrat, Republican, whatever, in the middle.
And you would say that applies to both if either of them win, whether it's or if that's just more if Biden loses.
Yeah, I mean, if Biden loses, which is probably going to happen because he's probably going to just drop out. I think they said something about it.
They're talking about it, right?
And yeah, I think he's probably not going to be in the picture. And it's either going to be Trump or some other candidate. Because, I mean, with everything that just happened with Trump, it's like really strange, and like, people are talking prophecies for real and weird stuff, and I'm like, I don't know.
They drop Mini-Man on the poster.
I'm like, I don't really know. Like, I mean, it could be. We could all be duped and be like, wow, he turned it around. Like, I don't know. Like, but I'm not, like, gonna champion him, because it's like, it's like championing one of my dad's friends that used to talk crap on all the stuff he's championing right now.
No, that's real. That's super real. That's really real, and I appreciate you adding that sentiment. So my last thing I want to drop on you is just topics of music, because you're a hip hop artist. That's what I would assume that's your main focus in adoption of.
Yeah, right now. For
sure.
I
mean, right. I know you produce. You do a lot of things artistically. So, what is one of the main things in hip hop that sticks out to you right now? Like, what's catching your eye? What's your main interest?
The thing I think that's most exciting to me about hip hop right now is the fact that all the people who have been kind of pioneers who are still alive, like, are like just coming back out of the woodwork, and it's like, to me, that's super exciting, because I mean, we're in Philadelphia right now, and one of my favorite artists that it continually inspires me even now is the Roots and Black Thought. Like his rhyme schemes are insanity. Like the way that he can just pen things and he just put things together. And I feel similar like on how he writes. You know what I mean? It's exciting to me. So that stuff like Pete Rock and Common just came out with an album. That's amazing. Like there was that one song that I did hear from the Eminem album, Fuel. That was sick. I mean, I'm loving that type of stuff, but I'm not really in love with a lot of other stuff happening in hip hop, and that's kind of what is pushing me to be something else for people to listen to at some point. You know, I want to be a not necessarily a role model because like I don't very favorable I don't very favorably view myself all the time. So I don't necessarily want myself to be a role model, but it's probably what happens when you get attention, you know what I mean? But I think I want to just be somewhat of a light where places where it's not, you know what I mean? Because I'm seeing a lot of nonsense, a lot of young kids that are misguided that are still trying to push death culture, which is so strange. Like we literally have open mics in Philly for no death culture because it's still going on. It's like, what the heck is going on? Like there's so many other cool ways that you could not talk about that stuff in such a like at you way. You know
we're gonna talk about that off camera because that's a good subject. But I don't want to derail you from your initial point because I like what you were saying about the resurgence.
Yeah, I'll go everywhere.
No, that's what I said. I got you. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So what you were mentioning about the resurgence of older acts, I was gonna ask you about M's album, right? So did you listen to the whole album or just the one song?
Yeah,
okay, all right, bet. I haven't tapped into it, but the last 2 days actually, it's been coming down my radar. Like people just been talking about it and things of that nature. So, like, what do you think of Eminem's music now versus before? Everybody's describing it as post recovery and after recovery M. How do you view him as an artist?
I actually never thought about that before because I just listened to the music. But yeah, I've always enjoyed his music because when I was a kid, you know, growing up, it was so chaotic. The type of stuff that I was going through, like he's like talking about it in his music. So it's like, that was like normal to me to hear him talk about these horribly crazy scenarios about getting beaten and like terrible stuff happening. Like that was like kind of a regular thing like in the neighborhood. Like, you know, and it just happened to be like a lot at my house, you know what I mean? So when somebody's able to take passion of like anger and aggression and all that chaos and be able to formulate it in a pattern that actually makes sentences and like it makes something out of nothing almost. Like it takes all this horrible stuff and turns it into like gold. I mean, literally gold and platinum. His records, you know what I mean? So, I think he's an amazing artist. I don't have anything bad to say about him. What he does in his personal time is whatever. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people care so much about stupid things like that. Yeah, I don't really get it. Like the guy obviously had issues because he grew up in a hard time. Leave the man to heal. Like, why are we poking at him and like pulling his scabs? Like, you should probably deal with your own problems. Like,
and I love that because there was a bar I heard from the album. He said, "Nobody gave a F until I sell a bit, right? Until I was selling a bit." So it's like what you said.
Yeah.
It's like, so then you actually highlighted the point of why I asked and what drives a lot of people that I know towards his music is his ability to transmute his experiences. So being younger, when you were younger, right? How was he an influence on you being a white artist and you wanting to express yourself as an artist? Because a lot of my influences in music come from people who look like me and lived like me. Yeah. So like, since you said you had a similar background, how did you directly connect with his music? And like, how is his whole career and persona and stuff growing on you over time? just culturally, like as your cultural.
I would say first of all, I don't pay attention to culture that often because I kind of live in my own world. I kind of live in my own world because most of what everybody considers culture.
You're good.
Most of what everybody considers culture is really just perspective because every individual house and home has its own culture, and every neighborhood and every town and city, county, keep going wider and wider. I mean, every place has its own tiny culture. So like when people say for the culture, you know, that's a super broad statement.
Yeah,
like,
I got what you're saying.
But what was the question again?
How did he impact you growing up?
Yeah,
like y'all both white artists, so like.
I never paid attention to that. I never paid attention to the race thing.
Okay.
I never paid attention to anything other than it was just literally a CD that I could jam in my CD player and walk with it. Like, so that was everything that I could find. I mean, that was Barry White, that was Santana, that was like Luther Vandross, that was Red Hot Chili Peppers, 50 Cent. Like, it was a CD and it fit in the player.
Those are some good times. The way you just hit that lane, boy, that was a good time. Shit.
It hit the CD player, it played. If I didn't jump a bunch of times, it didn't skip.
No, that was the reason why I asked, because like I said, when I first heard the Marshall Mathers LP, that wasn't what I initially gravitated to it for. But then when I got a little older, like you said, because of like my environment, who I grew up around, and a lot of the conversations I was having, it became more prominent. So when you were introduced to that dynamic, how did you confront it? Like, damn, like whether it was his approval or disapproval in the space, how did you identify with that, or what were some of the things that maybe jumped out? You never.
No, I never identified myself with anybody other than myself.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So it's like what he had going on, what he got going on.
He's a rapper, and
I got you.
Was good, and that was like as far as it went. I never really thought much about it, honestly. Like, and because the friends that I grew up were always the outcasts of where I was at.
Okay.
So I grew up in a predominantly white area, so the outcasts are all black and Mexican and Puerto Rican and Asian. So that was the people that I just happened to be sitting with at the lunch table because nobody else wanted to sit with them at the lunch table either. So it was what it was. And, you know, Outkast was good music and Eminem was good music. Like, it didn't really matter whoever they were, you know, whatever they were doing in their life, it bumped. You know what I mean? It got me through my day, and I didn't want to die anymore. I wanted to go do stuff and play on my skateboard and ride my bike to like these crazy raps. You know what I mean? Like these patterns. It made me want to do stuff. Like made you want to be alive because there was a vibrancy about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, bro. That's why I wanted to close with that question, because I know how passionate you are about hip hop. Almost knocked myself out again.
The second time.
You know what I'm saying? But I know how passionate you are about hip hop, so that's why I wanted to get that topic in. All of these are going to be myriads of content that I'm going to be able to use over the years. So thank you again.
Yeah, no problem.
We probably going to go smoke or something. So you have anything you want to leave with before we slide?
No, I mean, I appreciate everything that you're doing personally. Because it's given me an outlet, like, because I didn't have no money, and there was no way I'm paying $20 to go to anywhere, like, unless it was taking a girl out on a date, because I keep doing stuff like that for no reason. Don't ask me why. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I never did that stuff before. I was married for a long time. Don't ask me about it. But
I just asked him 20 questions. He's like, that's the one. He's like, that's the one that's no, not that one.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate TJ and what he's doing because he cares about people. He cares about not societal things. He cares about what is good for humans, like, and how can he impact that in his avenues of music and culture, of those spaces of hip hop, and like his is predominantly black culture and all those things. So he's putting what he knows and how he can benefit into those things, and it's amazing. Like, you're doing everything that you envisioned when you had nothing, just like me. So
yes, sir.
I'm doing the
yes,
sir.
Sir, talk your shit, real rap. And thank you, bro.
Yeah. So I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, good. All right. So